Hello everyone, this is Dr. Nivedita Manokaran and you're seeing me exclusively on Femorai. Today we will be talking about why is it so hard for women to reach orgasms. So what do we know about orgasms and why is there so much talk about women not able to attain an orgasm? And I think that's because we are not really sure about what exactly gives women that ultimate pleasure or how they are going to be able to reach that ultimate pleasure. Most of the time it's misconceived that when having penetrative sex, and if people are able to have penetrative sex for a very long time, or if men are sometimes having bigger penises than smaller or thicker ones, they are able to give the women orgasm. But that's a misconception, because orgasm and pleasure for every woman can be different, and that is so important to actually know what is that needs stimulation, what is that is going to make you reach that peak when you want of pleasure, and peak when you can orgasm. Foreplay is something that is totally underrated, and people actually don't give it as much orgasm, especially when you're in a long-term relationship. Having sex becomes more like a routine, more like something that people think of they just have to do and get it over and keep moving on. And I also feel that lack of communication is such a big thing in terms of sex and sexual pleasure. So I feel like a lot of the times women actually don't open up and tell people, instead of penetrating, probably stimulating the clitoris is going to make me feel better, or I enjoy oral sex more than penetrative. Or sometimes some people like to talk sexy throughout the sex, or some people like it silent. So there are so many things which actually arouse people and help them reach the orgasm that they can. So there is some kind of an agenda behind this sex, rather than enjoying sex, or rather than asking each other, are we happy with each other sexually? What is that actually gives you pleasure? So these kind of things are very, very important. People always think that if you've been masturbating, so masturbating for a long time actually decreases or prolongs people from getting an orgasm. See, the thing behind it is, if you have been masturbating, or if you have been feeling yourself, and if you're kind of aware of what actually gives you pleasure, so you know what your body needs or what kind of stimulation you need to make yourself pleasurable. So if anything, masturbating or exploring yourself or touching yourself actually gives you a better knowledge about yourself, and you can actually tell your partner that this is what gives me pleasure, and this is what I would like to do, and this is what, in that way, probably reaching an orgasm or doing something that actually gives you an orgasm is what is going to get you an orgasm, isn't it? So if you know what is that you enjoy the most, it is actually a really good thing. So masturbating is not a bad thing, and feeling yourself or knowing your body well is actually really, really very important for you to know what it takes for you to get an orgasm. So I would also like to say that it's not all about orgasm. So not everybody need to or have to reach an orgasm. A lot of the time people can actually love just the foreplay, or just the kissing bit, or just talking about it bit, and they may enjoy the whole process but may not be able to get an orgasm, and that's actually okay. It's not a problem or anything like that. And I always tell people, don't focus on the point of wanting to reach that, or it's not something like I have to reach it. Enjoy the process. Sex is like a whole process, and don't constantly focus on the bit of I'm not getting an orgasm. Sometimes you don't need it, but you can enjoy everything else that is happening. While that is happening, it is also important to try different things to see if something else is actually giving you an orgasm. So there are several spots that can be actually stimulated in order to give pleasure to women, and these are called erogenic zones. And with these zones, I think clitoris is definitely a big one. And then we have the G spot, and we have the A spot, and we have the B spot. These are nothing, but these are all different pressure points and spots inside your vaginal canal. So the one that as soon as you go in on the top is your G spot, and that is the commonest spot. But not everybody is going to be stimulated again by G spot. Some people get stimulated by G spots. Some people get stimulated by clitoral stimulation or oral sex. And the same way, some people actually, the B spot, A spot, they're all well behind in the vagina. So if some people can actually need penetrative sex going for a long time and stimulation of the internal parts of the vagina. Usually it is not very complicated, like we're all sexual beings. A lot of people are having sex, so it is actually not that complicated. But for some it can be. Some can struggle. So easily you should be able to find what is that gives you maximum pleasure, what you need, and communicating that, I think, is important. The most important thing about orgasms or enjoying your sex or attaining an orgasm is, one is communication. It's very important to let the other person know that what actually gives you pleasure, and for that you need to know what actually gives you pleasure. And the second important thing is, don't focus on just the end. Enjoy the whole process, and that's very important. So these are the two important things that we have to keep in mind when we constantly are worrying about orgasm. So this is Dr. Nivi here on Femini talking to you about why it is hard for women to orgasm. And thank you very much everyone for listening to me today. And it will be absolutely lovely and a pleasure to hear about more topics that you people would like to hear from us. And we are here to actually give it to you. So please put it in the comment box and let us know what is that you will actually like to hear or know from us. And we will be back with something really interesting for you all. Bye.